So far this year, the Clippers seem to just keep getting counted out. But let me tell you, as a Clippers fan, losing PG was the best thing this team could have done. I mean, straight up, this team is deep. Let's take a look at it. I mean, we got James, Terrence Mann, Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi, who is day-to-day and like it's preseason. It's hilarious. And Zubats. So Zubats, first of all, is one of the best underrated centers in the league. Seriously, 60% from the field, great rim protector, great scorer, great. He's just big. He matches up really well against a lot of the elite bigs in the Western Conference, offensively and defensively. He's gotten a lot better. And I think that's in part to James Harden because of the pick and roll, the spacing that they provide. And I think this team's going to be very good. This year, it was addition by subtraction. Lose Russell Westbrook, lose Paul George, who I liked Russ. PG was cool because he did some stuff for the organization, Western Conference Finals. But there are too many times where it's just like, hey, what are we doing here? I think it's cool to have Kawhi and PG, and everyone's saying, oh, when Kawhi is out, PG can play and be the guy, but then when PG is out, Kawhi can play and be the guy. But that didn't work because we had no real depth, because we were paying two guys a ton of money. So they picked a direction. James was like, hey, I'll go 30 million, or I think he's doing 30 million for 2 years. So that's pretty cool. Kawhi, 150 million for 3 years. So that's, 50 million a year, but it's Kawhi Leonard. So if he's healthy, he's going to play. He's going to be a baller. But look at the additions for our team. We got Chris Dunn, elite defender. Norman Powell, one of the best bench scorers in the league at the moment. Amir Coffey, he's been pretty good. Nico Batum is our guy, bro. He came back. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so sad when we traded him for James Harden, but then he left Philly, came to LA, and now we're gonna rock it back with the Batum battalion, bro. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like Mo Bamba's like cool. Like he's fine. We'll have to see how good he is. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be fun. Bones is going to be good. I like picking up Cam Christie. PJ Tucker's literally like away from the team at this moment. Like we don't have him on the roster basically. I don't know why Kai Jones is sitting all the way in fifth backup center behind Kawhi and PJ Tucker is not even playing. Kai Jones is the guy who I'm expecting to come in and we could do something for him. So, and in turn he could do something for us. He's a long athletic wing who I don't know if he can really shoot, but he can play good D, and he's athletic, and I think it'll be a really fun squad to have. So, this team, in my eyes, has a better roster overall with Kawhi and James fully healthy, because we got to assume everyone's fully healthy. Just look at it on paper. Better than Denver's, better than Phoenix's, and better than Golden State's because of the depth that they have and the versatility. I mean, we're talking about a team here that has James Harden and Kawhi Leonard on the team. James Harden is not far removed at all. I think 2 seasons of leading the league in assists. So if he can step up his scoring a little bit, losing PG and losing Russ and all these guys who need to touch the ball, if James can go a solid 20 and 10, that's really good for this team. This team goes easy 10 deep in the playoffs. I mean, look at this. We got 5 and 5. Completely easy. Batum, seasoned veteran. Norman Powell, seasoned veteran. Chris Dunn, great defender. We'll see if he can shoot. KPJ, kind of a wild card here. Bones, also a wild card. Bones, early beginning last year was really, really good for us before, we got James and Russ and had all the point guard problems. Bones is playing a lot of minutes and he's playing very good for us. So, and let's talk about the fact that people are focusing on the wrong things. James and Kawhi were the two guys that if you would have asked me as a Clippers fan last year, hey, keep 2 of these 4 guys and cut 2 of these 4 guys. I would have said cut Russ and PG and keep James and Kawhi. James provides, he is a system in and of himself. So he can score, he can shoot, he can create, he can pass. He's not a bad defender. He's always had that good IQ defensively, but maybe not on ball. But this isn't Rockets James Harden where he's out there scoring 40 a night and he's just kind of hanging on defense. But regardless, it won't take a lot for Kawhi to really make this Clippers team a playoff contender and even a top 6 seed. I'm going to go as far as saying that. Let's look here with Kawhi. So I took all these stats you see on screen right here and I kind of compared them to Raptors Kawhi in Toronto and all that stuff. So in Toronto, Kawhi averaged 27, 7, and 3. Okay? 60 games in the regular season, which not a lot of people talk about, and everyone talks about him being healthy. Now, here's the important part about the health. He played 24 playoff games. Let's go to playoffs right here. Check this out. His 2 rings are from when he's played 23 and 24 playoff games. Every other season, except for this one, he went to the finals here. But, every other season, he hasn't played a lot of playoff games, and therefore, there's no success. His first 2 years of the Clippers, he played just as many playoff games in 2 years that he did in Toronto in 1 year. So, It's the playoff health with Kawhi. It's not even like the overall health. He's played some decent amount of games. I mean, look at this. First of all, tore his ACL 2-3 seasons ago, so let's give him some slack. But 52 games, 68 games. He only missed 14 games last year. As a Clippers fan, I noticed that. I was like, he's playing a lot more. Because, I mean, ever since he's been a Clipper, 57, 52, didn't play at all, 52, 68. Once again, most that he's played since he was in San Antonio. So, Kawhi's there in the regular season, but he needs to be there for the playoffs. I mean, the past 2 years, he's played 4 playoff games. That's not even an entire series. Not to mention the fact that Kawhi on the Clippers is averaging 25-7-4. Once again, in Toronto, he averaged 27-7-3. In LA, he's averaging 25-7-4. He averages 57 games played per regular season and 7 games played per playoffs. So everything there matches up. I mean, look on screen. Everything matches up except for the playoff games. He doesn't play playoff games, and just because he gets injured at the last moment. This year, 8 of the 14 missed games that he missed were at the very end of the season because he got tweaked some. Very end of the year, didn't play the last 8 games, and then missed the first game of the playoffs, and then tried to play, and just it wasn't the same, and now we're here, right? We got bounced out of the first round, looking to go to next year. So Kawhi just needs to stay healthy for the playoffs. And I think James Harden can really help with that. Just at least help the Clippers stay afloat when Kawhi really needs the help. I say James Harden can help better than PG's because he's a system. I mean, look at this. 16.5 points and 8.5 assists. 1 steal, 2.5 turnovers. That's not bad for a guy who come in, first season getting traded, played 72 games. He's available. So James Harden is probably a better option going forward in terms of a second guy than Paul George. But literally 2 seasons ago in 22-23, led the league in assists. If he can do this 21 and 10 again with Kawhi, the Clippers are going to be very, very primed for not only a good regular season, but a very good playoff run, especially with the depth. You've got options to sit in the corner and just catch shoot. Like, if I'm James Harden, I'm like, yeah, boy. Not to mention that we've heard reports that he's lost like 10, 15 pounds. That's freaking awesome. So James Harden has finally had a media day where he came in and he's not whining and he's not moaning or he didn't even show up. He showed up. He's like, yo, we are underdogs. Like, people are counting us out. We're going to be in the playoffs, 100%. And I like to see that. That's the kind of difference that the mentality brings. Now, I already made a whole video about the PG thing. You can go check it out if you want. I'll have it linked and stuff. But PG was not worth the whole ton, especially to re-sign when you're like, this hasn't been working out, and we would rather have the guy who's injured and won't play in the playoffs than you, who is here and doesn't help us do that anyways. And I think that was a good move. I think they went about that good. Because if James Harden can go 20 and 10 or more than that, this is going to be good. And if Kawhi is healthy, I think he could average 30 points a game and be one of the top scorers in the league. And that's going to be interesting for the West because the Nuggets, like I said, not very good. You look at Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, you look at their starting 5, and it's cool. Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, which we'll talk about in a sec, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. I mean, 4 of the 5 guys that were there for their starting lineup in their championship run. They lose KCP. They lost Bruce Brown a couple years ago in their championship run. And they brought in Westbrook and my buddy Deron Holmes. I mean, his Achilles is done, so he's out. So they just don't have depth. So Denver's not really an option. Dallas is cool. We'll have to see how Klay Thompson works out there. Minnesota looks solid, even after the cat trade and stuff. OKC looks really, really good. So the Clippers honestly have a pretty solid chance of making that top 6. I think they really do. If these guys can congeal and people can stay healthy. I know that's the biggest if in the world, but you can't just say it's not a fact. If these guys are healthy, it will happen. I think that it's like an if-then scenario. If this happens, then this. And that's what we've been saying for the past couple of years. I'm very good at saying if as a Clippers fan, 100%. Here's one thing that's very interesting to me. The Clippers signed Jeff Van Gundy as their lead assistant coach. And according to the things I've researched and looked at, Jeff Van Gundy, when he was a head coach, or any team that he has coached, has never had lower than a top 6 defense in the league. Lower than a top 6 defense. And you're telling me we added Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., Nicholas Batum, Mo Bamba, on top of Kawhi, Terrence Mann, and Zoo? this team is going to be very good defensively. Like, very good defensively. Not only do we have like reputable defenders, like, I mean, T-Man, you can stick on anybody's best player and it'll be good. Kawhi Leonard, I don't even have to say that. Zoo, great rim protector. Then guys like Derek Jones, who locked up really good key players on the opposite side on the Mavericks finals run last year. KPJ is cool. Chris Dunn is one of the best defensive guards in the league. And Nicholas Batum, Mo Bamba hopefully coming in and blocking some shots. We're going to have a really good defense, if nothing at all. So, on top of everything, good solid defense, which basically looks like a fact at this point. On top of a deep roster and a healthy Kawhi Leonard slots in, dude, this team's going to be gnarly. And I just wanted to compare this to the 2019 Raptors because, I mean, the same thing. I mean, look at this. They were easily 10 deep. Now, I think this Raptors squad is 100% better than our team currently because Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi, Pascal, Serge. Then off the bench, Van Vliet, Norm, OG, Chris Boucher, and Marc Gasol. And then you have Jonas Valanciunas, and you've got other guys that played a decent amount. But that's an easy 10, 11 deep team. So this team reminds me of that team that Kawhi led, and there was nobody else. I mean, James Harden, Kyle Lowry might be on the same thing because, I mean, look right here. Kyle Lowry, I mean, 14 points, 9 assists. If James Harden can be about 20 and 10 with Kawhi going for these numbers right here, and we literally had Norman Powell on our team too, and I think he's better than he was. He's definitely averaging more than 8 points in a playoff series. And we have all of these good assets like this team did. Dude, there's not going to be a lot of teams that can stop Kawhi Leonard and company. Like, especially if James Harden's there. James Harden's still good. So that's all I got for today. I'm not coping. I really don't think I am. Like, I don't know what everyone's like. I don't know if I can show the clip, but there's a clip from The Ringer that they said that the Clippers were going to be the 13th seed. Where it was like, oh yeah, the only two teams 100% were, so the Blazers and the Jazz. And then it's kind of like the Clippers. And I was like, what are we talking about? Like, this is insane. I get that there's going to be a lot of good teams in the West this year, but dude, Clippers are here, bruh. Like, addition by subtraction. Remember that. Lose Westbrook and PG, let James Harden. Dude, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard are on the same team. I get that it's not 40 points per game, James Harden, but just wait and watch. I promise you. That's all I got for today. We out.